Burns did lead the way in his appreciation of an attitude towards women. He had taste and he loved women. Robert Burns was a feminist. Yes, he was a philanderer, a fornicator, and the father of many bastard bairns. But he was also a feminist. Robert Burns loved women. In fact, without us, he says he would not have written a single word. For a quote, "I never had the least thought nor inclination of turning poet until I got heartily in love. Then rhyme and song became the spontaneous language of my heart." Burns also thought of women as the superior of the species. He said, "Mother Nature, her prentice hand, she tried on man, and then she made the lassies." This is how important the lassies were to Rabbie Burns. He loved the company of the fairer sex, and in fact preferred it to that of men. He said, "The finest hours that e'er I spent were spent among the lassies all." And quite apart from his lovers, there were two key women that played a part in his view on women. And that was his mother, and her friend, her oldest friend, Betty Davidson, who fueled the young Robert's imagination and fired up his passion for words and stories. Agnes, his mother, was a small, vibrant woman with bright red hair who could not write but could tell stories. And she told him traditional Scottish stories and sang old folk songs to the young Rabbie Burns, laying the foundations of our son's passion for rhyme and song. Betty Davidson, her oldest friend, delighted in telling him ghost stories, and she involved the devil, warlocks and fairies in these stories. Rabbie Burns wrote Tam O'Shanter one evening, and it's clear that the poem had been bubbling away inside since he was a small, terrified young boy listening to Betty's stories and her tall tales of superstition and apparition and dragons by the dim light of the crackling fire. Robert Burns was also an advocate for women's rights, and at a time when Emmeline Pankhurst was still a twinkle in Mother Nature's eye, the poem The Rights of Women, which may seem patronising now, but in 1792, in the French Revolution, it was groundbreaking, shocking, and he was laughed at by his friends in his supper club and the Masonic Lodge. Burns wrote the poem for Miss Louise Fontenelle, and she was a London actress who performed it at benefit night. And just an extract from it says, "While Europe's eye is fixed on mighty things, the fate of empires and the fall of kings, while quacks of state must each produce his plan, and even children lisp the rights of man, amid this mighty fuss, just let me mention, the rights of women merit some attention." And in this poem, Robert Burns is calling to the social order, particularly the ruling classes, to pay attention to the attributes of women in society and to womankind in general, and to value their intrinsic worth, particularly as pacifiers in a time of war. Robert Burns was a ladies' man in every sense of the word. Women made him, women inspired him, and women educated him. Yes, Burns was a reckless romantic who fell in love and into bed too easily with women. He loved women, and they loved him back. He loved lots of women, his mother, his aunts, his sisters, his wife, his daughters, and of course his lovers. Many Celtic women extended freely what was euphemistically called the friendship of the thighs. Burns valued and appreciated women for their beauty and intellect, along with their political views, their humour, their passions for words and language, and he stuck up for them, and he advocated for them at a time when women had no rights at all. So please, as you think about Rabbie Burns, And as you think about other men, please do remember the wider range of attributes which can be attached to them, other than with Robbie Burns, philanderer and fornicator. And remember, he also was a feminist. So, with that in mind, gentlemen, thank you for your toast to the lassies, and encourage you, dig deep and nurture that feminist inside of all of you. And ladies, please be upstanding and join me in a toast to the laddies. The laddies.